All right, so there's a lot of talk here about Obama wanting to, quote, go for the guns. What's his name? Alex Jones. Talking about Ron Paul and the FEMA camps. He was saying that they're going to come for our guns. And a lot of Democrats and stuff, they will emotionally yell for a ban on guns. And that kind of got me thinking about, of course, libertarian here. I'm going to be against it. I understand that a free society, bad things are going to happen. I also understand that as long as we have doctors prescribing antidepressants, we're going to have these mindless drones, these mindless drone kids having their lives destroyed from these drugs and turned into these weapons. Is really what they become. They become these psychotic weapons because of these drugs. And I say because of these drugs because they weren't like that until they took the drugs. And you can't prove anything else other than that. That's all we know, so it's evidence enough for me. But what I was wondering is how many Americans actually own guns. Now, it's a very hard statistic to come up with because I found this here, and I'm willing to accept it. 10 million, give or take. You just don't know. It's between 20 to 50% of the population because the numbers are hard to track. Many experts claim that it's at least 1 in 4 Americans, which would be 76 million people. Almost, I would just round it up to 100 million. So if you ban guns, you then make 100,000, potentially 100,000 people, individuals in this country, you immediately make them criminals. Okay, so there's a couple of problems with this. When you criminalize someone, that's a new enemy for the state. Not all of them, but a lot of them will, smart enough to recognize that, well, shit, I'm a criminal now for merely owning a gun. Number one, they're going to want to own more guns to protect themselves should the government come try to take them. And they're probably going to want to fortify their house. They're not going to pay taxes anymore, which I'm for that. And so what it actually does, it will further drive that 100 million people, or 50 to 100 million, 500. This is confusing. 100 million to 50 million people. We'll just give it that range. It'll drive them underground potentially, and like I said, it will create more enemies for government. So it's similar to blowback we see in foreign policy. Well, we would have a blowback to that. So if you ban all guns, you're then going to create another war, another police state, another war on, in this case, guns. So, and it will be a large percentage of the population. So it would be like banning people who, banning nationally. I don't know, I'm trying to think of who play violent video games. Ban it. Therefore, criminalizing those who have played or are playing. I'm sure they'd make it retroactive. Playing a violent video game. So this is I guess you call it the dumbing down of America, and then the emotional, psychological operations that are taking place in the country today over this shooting. It's been played up to the hilt, even though we still don't even know exactly what took place. I'm assuming that the information that I have is accurate, but I don't know that anymore, and I'm not sure. There is something kind of bizarre about this story, and that the information has been so bizarre and strained and flippant. It's been switching back and forth between what's true and what's not true. I'm assuming at this point that Obama and Democrats want to go after assault rifles. Well, the kid who did this did not use an assault rifle. Apparently, he just used 2 handguns. Well, that's if the information that I have is correct. And so some Democrats are going to go after video games because, psychotic kids on these medications, or maybe even having withdrawals from these medications, these antidepressants, they sometimes play these video games and probably do get ideas. But normal, kids who are not suffering from psychotic episodes or trances and, disassociation with reality are fine. I play violent video games. I've never had the desire to do this. So anyways, just a little FYI, they can't send us all to jail. It's so stupid.